Well, I am first very grateful to God for giving me the opportunity to serve my country. I did my best to serve my country faithfully. Today being the final day of my being in office, but I have nothing to say but to consistently thank God. Thanking God not only for what I have been able to achieve, but to thank God for using me as a historical tool to correct the genuine inconsistency that has characterized and bedeviled the Ministry of Youth and Sports. This is one of the ministries that have the highest turnover of ministers. Some have even spent 3 months. The longest since 1999 spent 1 year, 8 months. And I spent 3.5 years, being the longest. I indeed have to return thanks to God. I mean, for giving me this rare privilege. And I also thank the staff of the ministry and those I've ever worked with, friends, associates, those with goodwill, those who even love sport, that have contributed in inspiring me to initiate positive reforms that today has resulted into repositioning the Nigerian sports sector. Well, you see, nobody had received the worst criticism in the history of Nigerian sports ministers like myself. Even the information technology was fabricated to paint a video misconception of my personality. There was this statement that critics use that I said in the National Assembly that the money spent it. I lectured in the university and I produced students. Today, at the inauguration of the National Youth Parliament, my joy escalated when one of the honorable members ran and hugged me and was telling the crowd, this was my lecturer. He taught me law. Whatever knowledge I have today, this is the honor. So those who painted that got it wrong. Even if I had used that, of course, we have what is referred to in communication as slip of tongue. Yeah. It could likely be. But they made a lot of issues in it because they thought they could worry me out of the office. So there was no tactics at all that was not employed in the past 3.5 years. No tactics. Guerrilla journalism, hate speeches, um, demeaning of personality. There was nothing that was not done. But you see, conscience is an open wound with fear no accusation. Even at the dying minute, there is so much desperado in trying to pull down my image with this issue of the 150,000 so-called erroneously accredited account of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. This is it's just a desperate attempt by those who in the past 3.5 years that lost grounds that are trying to, at the dying minute, paint a dark picture. And let me just provide a little information. There is so much about that issue of 150,000 that is quite embarrassing. the Director of Finance and Administration of the International Athletics Federation sent, that's the IAAF, sent, transfer the sum of 150,000 into the account of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria on the 17th of May, 2017. On the 19th, the Director of Finance and Administration wrote the President and confirmed that I have transferred this amount into your account.
The rest didn't come from you.
The second paragraph of the letter said, this amount corresponds with the grant approved for Warri Golden Relay. We never heard of anything. We had a successful Warri Relay. Suddenly, after 2 months, another unsigned correspondence from 1G Islam, who is even neither a Director of Finance and Administration of WAF or the Secretary General, but he referred to his office as General Manager, Governance, an unsigned correspondence. And in that correspondence, he said that they were told, they were informed by CAA, that is Continental African Athletics, that they made a mistake of transferring 150,000 instead of 20,000. And that the President of Athletics Federation should liaise with his bank and see if they can refund the money. Money confirmed to be for an event, and the IAAF officials were in Warri. They participated in the Golden Relay and they satisfied it. So when the issue came up and the same G Islam kept insisting, and I said, we met with him, and I said, okay, if it was a mistake, then certainly government will ultimately have to take responsibility to refund the money. We made effort to now pay half of the money, which was 39 million. We paid to the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. They now diverted the money. So the diversion of the money by Athletics Federation of Nigeria now raised concern to the ministry. So we went back again and began to overhaul the entire document of transaction and discovered that there were a lot of inconsistency in terms of the document coming to the ministry in respect of this so-called erroneous transfer of funds. The last document which they sent, the same G Islam, who is neither the Director of Finance and Administration, who had said, I confirm that this is the amount approved for you. We think that the appropriate person to handle the issue of mistake should have been the man who transferred the money, who is even a professional. Now, if the issue is as serious as it was painted to us and we attempted to pay the money, the Federation, which is now supposed to have been more serious about how to pay back the money, diverted the money. So we became apprehensive that there is more to it than meeting the eye. So these documents, when we analyzed them, we became convinced that no, there is something wrong somewhere. This led to their last letter, which has generated, the public outrage, a lot of attacks and criticism. But like I said, we did nothing wrong. If you give us money and you feel you no more want to give us, you are withdrawing. communicate us that you have withdrawn the grant you sent to us, let us give you your money back. We will do that. Because in the first place, we did not solicit for it. It's a partnership. So if you are withdrawing it, of course, we'll give you your money back. We will not withhold your money. But it must be done in a transparent and a clean manner. The entire transaction between the AFN and GISRAM, who have been writing, is not very clear to us. Secondly, the IAAF has a Secretary General. If they have felt Nigeria had refused to refund the money and they are going to ban Nigeria, like it is speculated, the communication should originate from the office of the Secretary General, not GISRAM, who sent a correspondent, an unsigned correspondent in the first place, raising mistake. So this is the position. However, I have contacted the president of IAAF, Sebastian Coe, and he has gotten back to me. He will be talking to me by 4 o'clock on this issue. Okay. So we will be discussing with the president so that we can be able to understand what is playing out. So for those who, because maybe they don't like the face of Solomon Dalung and they think it is an opportunity for them or to attack him unnecessarily, I think most of us go to the church or the mosque and we call ourselves religious people. There is a need for us to try to be fair in what we do. But as far as we are concerned, we will get to the bottom of what actually is happening. Well, I run the ministry in the past 3.5 years against budgetary odds. If you review the budget of the ministry in the past 3.5 years, there has been quite minimal budgetary allocation for sports development. Even when we propose our budget for sports and send it, when it will return from the National Assembly, it would have been completely whittled down to even unimplementable figures. I give an example. In 2015, the National Assembly, the National Assembly approved 9 million for the National Youth Games. And the last edition of the National Youth Games was funded with 300 million. I had to go out of my way to visit private sector sponsors, state governors, to be able to raise funds to revive the National Youth Games in 2016. The National Youth Games had continued till date. All the athletes we have benefited from in the subsequent games, either the Youth Olympics, the African Youth Games, the Commonwealth Games, were product of the 2016 edition. Now, it has continued like that. The budget meant for sport is dismembered at the National Assembly and allocated to constituency projects, irrelevant projects. Sometimes 200 million will be taken from the budget of a sporting event, and then a new project is created as procurement of sporting kits. And it's a constituency project. So in the 3.5 years, I have had it very, very difficult. I have always been heading to the president for intervention. It has been the president who saved sports in the past 3 years, but not budget. Because if you go and look at our budget, there is nothing there at all that justified our commitment to sports development. Even the World Cup, the National Assembly voted 400 million. The Olympics we went in 2016, the National Assembly voted 400 million. We got intervention from the president to implement a modest Olympic budget in 2016 of about 1.9 billion. That's the most conservative budget in the history of sports. So one of the major challenges of this ministry is the absence of proper budgetary support. Well, I guess talking about the youth component of maybe my contribution in the past 2.5 years, you see, there are major inroads and remarkable achievement in terms of youth development. Um, the youth empowerment programs of the ministry in the past 3.5 years was revived, overhauled, and given a human face. All the trainees at the end of the program are given seed money, take-off grants, and they are exposed to first civic training before we move into the professional training, whether of vocation or skill acquisition. And we've been able to train over 1,500 or so thereabout in the past 3.5 years. Now, the difference between the empowerment program of the Ministry of Youth and any other empowerment program is that from the ministry today, with a dial, we can reach any of our trainees. There is follow-up, there is monitoring, there is evaluation. So we know where they are, we have their records, we have their progress reports, and then we evaluate them. The second thing is we were also able to revive the National Youth Parliament. Today, the last public function I performed is to inaugurate the 4th edition of the National Youth Parliament. Also, the National Youth Policy 2009, it was supposed to be reviewed in 2012. It wasn't. We came in and inherited that policy and then started the process of review in 2015. To God be the glory as I'm talking. The National Youth Parliament, a robust National Youth Parliament, with contemporary youth issues taken into consideration, the thematic issues expanded and the scope of implementation, with even benchmarking principle introduced, was launched on the 24th in Akure and presented to the public. That is a major landmark. The youth now are armed with a tool to begin to advocate and demand for their rights at all levels. For the celebrations of the International Days and National Celebration of the Youth Days, I don't consider those ones as achievement. Those ones are just cultural, they're just tradition. And so to me, they don't mean much. But for the National Youth Council, unfortunately, the stability of the National Youth Council is still not there, because the same proliferation of leadership is ongoing. Yes, it's ongoing. The new leadership elected was challenged in court and removed by a court order, and recognized another different leadership. Well, as law-abiding citizens, we abide by the decision of the court because it's the principle of the rule of law. So that is where we are with the national youth leadership. But the national youth policy has cured all this recklessness, because most of the crisis in the National Youth Council is perpetuated by youth who have been stuck by the progressive congestion in leadership. So instead of them to look ahead, because the future is congested, they prefer, to begin to move back and take what they can take easily. Now the National Youth Policy has introduced a radical departure. Youth is defined as persons between the ages of 15 and 29 against the ages of 18 and 35. So the national youth policy has retired the major actors of the youth crisis. So with the implementation of the new youth policy, where the Vice President of Nigeria is going to chair the implementation council, definitely we are going to adhere to this major landmark, and those who will be active in youth politics will be those within the ages of 15 and 29. And this is in tandem with best international practices, because most international statutes relating to the ages of youth fall within this range. Well, from the records I have, because the handing over note, I review it, and well, in 2016, we have about 198 or so medals. In 2015, in 2016, it came to 150 something. In 2017, it went up again. And in 2018, we recorded over 700 gold medals. So if you put the sum total of gold medals recorded within the period of 3.5 years, we have close to over 1,400 or 500 gold medals. I will dedicate these medals to the hard working and selfless athletes, sportsmen, and women of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who burn their energy and time as a mark of patriotism to promote the name and the image of their country. I will also dedicate this achievement in the past 3.5 years to the Daura-born General, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, whose fatherly support and regular intervention helped in no small measure to succeed. If the president was not handy to always respond to our request for intervention, I doubt if today I will be able to say, oh, I will be leaving office with up to 50 medals. Because for the budget of the ministry is lamentable. In fact, towards the end of 2018, because of the huge amount of intervention released, and 2018 was a sporting year, right from January to December, there was no dull moment, either international or national. Towards the end of the year, we had most of the intervention charged to our overhead because there was nowhere to charge it. We have spent our limit. So this wouldn't have been possible if the president had not supported sport. And I pray and appeal to the president to continue with this support for the sports sector. I don't think much about reappointment because I'm somebody who believes in God. I didn't in the first place campaign to be a minister. God decided that it was time for me to be a minister. And because it was the decision of God, He gave me the grace to serve 3.5 years to create history. Despite all attempts to bring me down, the Most High remained consistent. And today He has proved my critics, artificial enemies, He has proved them wrong. So for me to begin to think about the appointment, I will be behaving like Uzzah, who helped God, and God became angry, yes, and struck him immediately. So I will look unto God. Let his will be done. I am today moving out, very happy person, leaving the ministry after a successful completion of my tenure. What has given me the greatest joy is the statement, the validatory statement of the president. Even if he has given me 1 billion naira, it couldn't have what such words he used. In about 5 to 6 different paragraphs, he used the word, you people should be proud for doing this. You should be proud for returning, saving Nigeria, bringing Nigeria out of recession. You should be proud for, rescuing Nigeria from Boko Haram. You should be proud. You should be proud. You should be proud. What else do I look for? So I will only, with the benefit of hindsight, look at those who have designated my enemies, and then look up to the cross of Christ and say, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they are doing. But one of the greatest fuel I got that gingered me to work hard came from Vanguard. There was a time, every week, their main story is Sagdalum. So the Sagdalum became a fuel. It was gingering me. And when they stopped writing Sagdalum, I became weak. I hope if we have another minister, they will be able to fuel him with the sacking. So that the man can walk and even walk better than me.